Welcome back, guys. I'm glad you are here. We are going to talk about the topic of pre-planning versus reverse planning. If you don't know what those are, or you're trying to decide if you want to switch from one or the other, stick around. I'm going to give you all of the pros and cons to help make that decision for you. Thank you again for showing up for the channel, you guys. You know what to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with all of your friends, and don't forget to hit that bell so that you'll never miss another video again, guys. We're gonna hop right into this. Pre-planning versus reverse planning. Why am I talking about this? It came up recently. The planning method that I have been using, my daughter requested something else. And so I had to really sit down and think, is my planning method working for the entire homeschool family, or is it solely based on my needs? And are we able to switch to something else? Would that work for us? And how to evaluate that? I had to start digging and doing tons of thinking about the processes, because just because we use a process and have used it for so long doesn't mean that it's the only process that will work for us. I am a creature of habit. So when my children change, because that is what we do, I have to go with the flow and figure out how it will work for us. My creature of habit spirit decided that I was going to make this change and see if it will work for our family. We are currently still experimenting with it. But right now, what I'm going to do is give you pros and cons of reverse planning versus pre-planning. My first disclaimer is, the first thing is you want to do what's best for your household. This is my opinion, having experienced both sides of it, and then you can take this information and do what you will with it to help hopefully balance your homeschool so that everyone is functioning at their highest ability. The first thing I'm going to talk about is pre-planning. Let's discuss the cons of pre-planning. If you don't know, pre-planning is where you sit down and you write out what your child or children are going to do for that day. We're going to complete lessons 1 and 2 for math, lessons 17 and 18 for language arts. We are going to read 2 chapters in our reading book, do 1 lesson of Spanish. You get the point. That is pre-planning. You would write that down somewhere, whether it is on a whiteboard in your classroom or in a nice little planner like the one I have here. It's going to be written down, and you will know when you wake up that next morning, this is the things that you guys are going to work on. That is pre-planning. Some of the cons for pre-planning is what happens if you don't complete the plan that you've set for the day. With a type A personality, is that going to throw you into a tailspin? Is it going to make you feel as if you have not accomplished anything for the day? Are your children going to feel as if they have failed for the day if they have not completed what was on the list pre-planned for you all to complete that day? Those are things to think about when doing pre-planning. When you sit back and look at it, it's like, oh my God, I did not check off all these boxes. I have lists, me personally, and I am a type A person. I have lists, and when I don't complete the things on my list, it frustrates me a little bit. And sometimes it can frustrate me a lot depending on how long that list is. Those are things that you want to consider for you and for your children. Sometimes we can set expectations for our children that they're not able to meet, and that can be frustrating. And with pre-planning, you never know how long it's going to take you to finish that lesson. Last week's lesson may have been really easy for your child to get through in 20 or 30 minutes. This week, it may take them 45 minutes to an hour to complete that lesson, which can throw off your entire day's schedule. And if you need to sit down and really reinforce whatever that concept is that maybe your child is just not getting right now. Now, some of the pros to pre-planning. You know what you're going to do. You have it set, you have a schedule, your mind is set on it. A lot of times this can help with focus, to know that these are the tasks that I am going to complete today. I am tunnel vision toward those things, getting it done. Another thing is that it can benefit your child. If you have an older child or a task-oriented child who says, you write this down for me and I will complete this task, then you know you can give that assignment to your child and they will go and do it. It allows your child to work independently. That is what I came into contact with, and I will tell you my story after I give you the pros and cons of reverse planning. And another pro of pre-planning is that you can better plan your day around other things that you may have going on. If you know that you're completing these 3 lessons, you have an estimate about how much time they will take you, you cut yourself off at that time, then you know that you can then move on to your grocery shopping or house cleaning or visiting family, extracurricular activities, whatever it may be. Those are the pros and cons that I have come across with pre-planning. Now we are going to hop right into reverse planning. I was first introduced to reverse planning in the summer of 2020. 2020 changed everything. We did things completely different in our lives. For this, I decided to take a reverse planning approach. Prior to that, I had always done a pre-planned approach in our homeschool. Reverse planning is when you don't put things down on paper. You simply go with the flow of the day and you write down at the end of the day what your children accomplished, what they did for math, language arts, Spanish, whatever the subject matter is. You simply write that down at the end of the day. I have come across pros and cons for reverse planning, and I'm going to share those with you guys. One of the cons is that you need to have some form of a goal. Do you have a goal for your child for the week, the month, semester, the school year? What are your goals? If you don't have a goal, reverse planning will leave you kind of just out there blowing in the wind, and you won't really know where you're going and what you have your eyes set on and where you want your child potentially to be with their learning. Another one is a lot of states require you to keep track of what you're doing and have a certain amount of days and follow a certain amount of standards. Here, we do not have homeschool requirements, pretty much nothing, but a lot of other states do. And if you're not meeting your state's requirements doing reverse planning, that may be a problem for you at the end of the year when you have to show documentation and progress, and even if your child has to do testing as well. Another thing with reverse planning, it can be so easy to get sidetracked. You can do one thing one day and then the next day, where do we leave off? What do I need to work on? I'm not really sure about how this is supposed to go. There are so many ways to get sidetracked with reverse planning. So you really have to be focused on how you are achieving some form of a goal. There needs to be a goal set there for it. Now let's talk about the pros of reverse planning. There is minimal prep work when you're doing reverse planning. You simply you can look the night before and go forward with where your child left off and just allow them to lead. It's more of a child-led learning or even unschooling in that category, in that you don't necessarily have a specific plan. You want to sit down, talk about a topic, and see where it takes your child's mind. Which takes me to my next point, is that it allows for them to have more free thinking and more free time to explore whatever that topic is. For instance, we've been doing our space unit study, and every day the girls find some other question that they want answered, and I allow them to go and look in all of our space books and figure it out. Reverse planning also allows for more freedom in your day, and it's less stressful. If you don't have a specific goal that you need to meet, or you're not focused on completing one specific lesson in this time frame, it takes some of the stress off. I've experienced both sides. I've done both pre-planning and reverse planning. And at this stage of our homeschool life, we are way into the reverse plan stage. I take a brief moment the day before to kind of see where we stopped and maybe what's ahead, and we just go with it. That is how our days are planned. Here's the backstory as to how we ended up switching again recently. I have always done pre-planning, and it didn't always work out perfectly, but I think I put so much stress onto that pre-planning that it stressed me, it stressed out the children, it just wasn't working. So in the summer of 2020, I decided, let's try reverse planning. Let's just get up and work where we left off and be okay with that. I worked really, really hard at getting to that point to where our school environment was more relaxed, more free-flowing, and the girls had to learn how to be that way as well, because I taught them how to be the other way. So we have moved into that. However, recently, like 2 weeks ago, my daughter came to me and said, I would really like for you to write down what it is that I need to do every day so that I can tackle those things and get them done. She was feeling a little left behind because I normally have the girls on the same lesson for math and language arts. She didn't like it. Now, was she really behind? No, not at all, but she didn't like it. So we have now switched back to, for her only, pre-planning. I will write down things that she needs to accomplish that day. However, we're kind of dipping our toe in both in that I don't tell her that she has to have it done by the end of the day or whenever our school day is over. I just say, here you go. This is what you work on. If you need my help, please let me know. She's more of really of a tasker and independent thinker, and I welcome it. It's great. She also knows that she can come to me anytime if she has questions. I'll explain a topic to her and we'll move on from there. That is how it has been. And it is just amazing to me that we're back a full circle. It just goes to show that our children are always changing. Their needs are always different. We have to deal with that as we move through our homeschool environment, parenting, and everything in between. So I hope you guys found this video to be really informative. It's been really eye-opening for me that we're back to where we started, at least with just one of my children. Make it work for your household. Do the best that you can. Evaluate and reevaluate what you're doing and what you're planning on doing to see if those processes still work for your home. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, guys, so that you'll never miss another video again. And I will see you right back here at the Life of Tillmans for another video next time. Bye.